I'm expecting 2025 to be a big season for my guy, Oscar Delp. He's a multi-year starter at tight end. And listen, it's a money year for Oscar. This will be his final season in Athens, and he's hoping to be one of the first tight ends taken in next year's NFL draft. I think he's got the tools. I think he has what it takes to be a starting tight end in the NFL, and I expect him to have a really solid season in 2025. That's what I'm going to talk about in today's video. I got a lot of great quotes from Kirby Smart, talking about Oscar Delp, talking about Lawson Lucky, and a lot more. But, I do understand that Georgia fans are probably expecting a little bit more production out of Oscar Delp last year, and I know they're expecting even more production from him this upcoming season. And, I have the same expectations. But the reality is that he is a really good tight end. And when the ball comes his way, good things happen. Now, I know that he, wasn't super productive early on in the season, but as the season went along, Oscar was making a lot of plays in the passing game. He wasn't the guy dropping the ball, right? So when the receivers were struggling, he was there to make an impact in the passing game. He caught 4 passes against Tennessee for 56 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a big game against the Vols, and that was a crazy important game. And from then on, he was really productive and made a big impact in the passing game. Had a touchdown catch against UMass a week later. He had a touchdown catch against Georgia Tech the week after that. And against Texas, down the stretch, when they needed someone to step up and make a play in overtime, they went to Oscar Delp. They hit him on that short flat, got him in space, broke a tackle, took off for I think like an 8 or 9 yard gain. And then 2 plays later, I believe on 3rd down, they got it to him again. He caught the ball in the backfield, broke a tackle, and then powered through another Texas defender on his way for a 1st down. And, when the game was on the line, that's the guy they went to. He's really good friends with Gunnar Stockton. They have a close relationship that I think will translate to the field. But this is a guy that I have high expectations for because I know how good he is. I've been writing about Oscar Delp when he had 0 offers out of high school. Kids right down the street, so I'm a little biased, but I know how good he is. And I do know that he's better than what the average Georgia fan thinks of him. So, and Kirby Smart said the exact same thing. So here's what Kirby has to say about Oscar. He said, Oscar is one of the best blocking tight ends in the country. He works really hard. He's a tremendous kid. I think he would tell you he's left some plays out on the field that he wishes he would have back, but he made the most of those. That's what you're judged on, is your competitive character for the next play. He made the plays, and he's continued to do it, and hopefully he gets a bigger role in the passing game as we keep going down the road. Now, he said that towards the end of the 24 season, and that's exactly what happened. He was more of a focal point in the offense. And again, he's not out there dropping passes that hit him right in the hands, and he's shown the ability to make plays after the catch, but he's a physical run blocker, and that's how he got to see the field as a freshman in 2020. And if you go back and watch the tape and watch him do his job in the run game, he is powerful and he is fundamentally sound. If you go back and watch the Texas game in Austin, I believe it was the first touchdown that Trevor Etienne had. Oscar Delp blew his guy up, and that allowed Trevor Etienne to score a big touchdown. I think that may have been actually the touchdown in the SEC championship game. But I do remember it was against Texas, and I remember it was an Etienne touchdown. I think it was that first touchdown run in the SEC title game where he took his man, shoved him backwards, opened up a hole for Etienne to run through. So he is versatile, and he can, be moved around a little bit, and he does have soft hands. He can catch the football, he can make plays after the catch, but his ability to block, I think, is what really stands out and is something that I don't think Georgia fans necessarily, see on a play-by-play basis. But I know the coaching does. The coaches do. Todd Hartley, really high on Oscar. He, has been coaching him for 3+ years now. Loved him out of high school. And Oscar has got better and better each year. And then, you hear Kirby Smart coming out saying that he is one of the best blocking tight ends in the country. So I do think Oscar is going to continue to thrive as a run blocker in that part of his game. But I do expect him to see more passes come his way. Last year, caught 21 passes for 248 yards, 4 touchdowns. Again, 2 of them came against Tennessee in one of the biggest games of the year. So he is reliable in that aspect, and I expect to see more of him in the passing game. Of course, they have Lawson Lucky as well. Kirby had a lot to say about Lawson Lucky recently as well. On what Lawson Lucky brings to the offense, here's what Kirby Smart had to say. He said, versatility and athleticism. He's really a tough guy. He's physical, tough, not afraid to get after it, but he's also a good pass receiver. You say, what has he brought? He's brought the versatility to run or pass, and he's getting better. I mean, he's still young in my eyes. Most times your second year in college is like you're just starting to come out of your shell, and he missed a lot of time last year with that injury, talking about his freshman year. If you think back, I think it was this game that he was just coming back in with the tight end, the tightrope. So he's really a year removed from that. The sky's the limit for Lawson Lucky. He can be really good. He keeps getting better. I like his confidence. I like his leadership and his mindset. He's got a toughness mindset. And listen, both these guys are going to have to be the faces, or two faces at least, on the offense, right? We think Gunnar Stockton's going to be the quarterback, but he might not be. You've got new faces on the offensive line. You've got new faces at receiver. You've got a sophomore, Nate Frazier, a running back who's kind of the face of the offense, or at least one of them. But Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky, those guys have to turn into leaders. And Oscar already is. You see them put out these videos on social media talking about NIL. Oscar's always one of the first guys you see and hear about. So, he's definitely has to take on a senior leadership role now, and I expect him to do that. So, but Lawson Lucky, another pass-catching tight end, right? The play he made in that SEC championship game on the sidelines, dragging that foot, I don't know how many tight ends or even wide receivers across college football who are making that play. I still can't believe he was able to get the foot down while securing the catch, flying out of bounds, and get that one solid foot in there. It was an incredible play, one of the best plays of the season, really. Outstanding throw by Gunnar Stockton on the run, but Lawson Lucky hauling that in was gigantic. And, I do think we're going to see probably more passes come his way as well. But overall, the tight end group is not one that Georgia fans need to be worried about. You're going to see those two. You're going to see Jaden Riddell. Colton Heinrich is a guy that Georgia fans don't really know a ton about. He was a 3-star in last year's class. He was a freshman last year who came in with Jaden Riddell. But I know Todd Hartley is high on him as well. He loves his group, right? Now, there's no Brock Bowers, and there's not going to be a Brock Bowers coming through anytime soon. Maybe ever. The guy was a unicorn, the best college football tight end of all time. Still, it's hard to find a tight end group in college football better than this one. They got two absolute ballers coming in as freshmen. Elias Williams, Ethan Barbour, two guys that were fantastic in high school, and guys who I know can play at a high level and make big-time plays at the University of Georgia. Now, it might not be this year because they're kind of buried on the depth chart, but overall, you're going to see those two. And you might see them in garbage time or against one of the two cupcakes that I think Georgia has. But at the end of the day, Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky are going to be leading this group. And they're only going to get better. And Georgia needs them. Georgia needs them in a big way. So, they do have some new receivers coming in. Those guys are going to be catching passes. But Oscar Delp is a reliable pass catcher who is one of the best run blocking tight ends in the country. And when Kirby Smart says that, he's not lying, right? So he is a guy that I think Georgia fans should be happy about, probably more than they should be. And he's one of the guys on the team that I think is better than maybe he gets credit for across the fan base and really across college football. The guy is a really, really good player, and I think he will exceed not only next year, but in the NFL as well. I truly believe that, and I think Lawson Lucky has the potential to have another massive season and be an NFL tight end as well. But that room could lead the way in Georgia's offense this year. And I know you don't necessarily want that to be the tight end group, but they do have questions at running back behind Nate Frazier. The question marks are, can guys stay healthy? They do have really good players, but they got to be healthy behind Nate Frazier. I like the wide receiver room, especially bringing in Noah Thomas, Zachariah Branch. If Jalen Bell can take a step forward, and guys like Nitro Tuggle, London Humphreys as well. Sokovia White maybe. And then you've got those incoming freshmen that are absolute ballers. That group should be good, but you do have some question marks on the offensive line as well. But at tight end, it's an outstanding group led by Oscar Delp. So, as Kirby said, hopefully he'll get a bigger role in the passing game, and I think we will see that next year. He's a big-time talent, and again, I've known him and his family for years. They're ready. He came back for a reason, and he came back to show that he is one of the best tight ends in college football, and I expect him to get the job done. We've been writing about him for a long, long time, And, you can learn more about Oscar, Lawson Lucky, and a lot of other Georgia Bulldogs over on dawgpost.com. Okay, we want to get y'all over to the website. It's the offseason, but we're still pumping out content, right? The season doesn't stop over on Dawg Post, so make sure you are a smarter Georgia fan by heading over to the website, reading all that we have to offer, and learning more about Oscar, Delp, Lawson Lucky, and some of these young, hungry tight ends that Georgia has waiting in the wings. They're outstanding players, and you could read about all of them now before they make plays between the hedges. So make sure you're doing that. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you over on the website.